with vinyl and vectors, and today I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to use my mockup VVMU6, the landscape rectangle wood sign frame mostly used for farmhouse designs, and I'm using Adobe Photoshop CC 2018. In this mockup I've included a watermark that you can easily turn on and off. All you have to do is go over here to the top layer and click on this eyeball here, and it'll turn it off for you. Although I would suggest when you're completely finished getting your mockup done that you would turn that back on and export or save your file that way, so nobody can steal your design. Now, to add your design, there's a couple different ways that you can do it. The first way I'm going to show you is how to use the smart objects. And if you look on the second layer here, it says place your design here, and there's a little box. If you just double click in this box, it brings up this design, and you just delete it. Actually, you're going to add another layer first. I'm sorry. You're going to turn off this layer that says your design. And I'm going to go over here. You don't even have to open up Illustrator. You can come over here and drag your SVG file. I have it labeled as test. I'm going to just drop and drag it here. And I'm going to resize this just a little bit. I can resize it once I get it onto the mockup. And you're going to come up here and hit this check mark that says OK. Then this is the odd part. You're going to actually close this page out, and it's going to ask if you want to save your changes, and you're going to hit save. Okay, so now it's dropped your design onto your mockup, and if you just click on this cross arrows up here and click on actual part of the design, you can move your design around and resize it. Oops, sorry about that. By holding down the shift key, you can resize it and keep it proportionate. And I'm going to do just a little bigger. That looks good. If you notice I have that pink line, that tells me that I'm centered in this mock-up this way. And that looks good. So I'm going to come up here and hit my check mark. And the last thing I want to do to make this look a little bit more realistic and not quite so mock-up-y, if that's a word, I'm going to go over here to this bar here that says normal, and I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to go down here to what it says multiply, and if you click on that, it's going to change the color and make it just slightly a little bit transparent so you see the wood grain behind it. And I'm still not quite happy with that, so I'm going to come over here to my opacity, which is right next to it, and I'm going to drop it down to maybe 88 looks good. And then I'm going to turn my eyeball back on for my watermark, and then you have your design done. You can always add in your logo, which I would suggest you do, and be finished with it. You can also do the exact same thing. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to delete this design. You can come in here and do the same thing without doing the smart object. You can actually drag in a PNG. So I'm going to come over here and grab my PNG. It's the same design. I have it labeled as test, but it's a PNG. And I'm going to just drop it right here on my mock-up. And again, I'm going to resize it to what I think I would look good. And I got it centered in my mock-up. Click my rectangle. And do the same thing. I'm going to hit multiply, and I'm going to drop my opacity down to about 88. Your opacity, you're going to want to drop to whatever you feel is good for you. Okay, it's not always going to be 88. And then turn your watermark back on. So that's the easiest way to make a mock-up using this PSD file. I'm going to show you how to do it in another program such as Canva or PicMonkey, just using the JPEG and a PNG. If you have any questions, feel free to just send me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day, everyone.